The author of the award-winning novel Johnny Appleseed is back with a brand new work of nonfiction. We're honored to have Joshua Whitehead in studio with more on Making Love with the Land. Happy book birthday today.
Why, thank you so much. Yeah, I just need some like streamers and we'll
yes,
have a party.
Oh, we should have, oh, cue the balloons, cue the balloons for this one. Now, this book is you call it a bio story. It's nonfiction, but you didn't want to call it a memoir, you didn't want to call it a biography.
Yeah, I think there's weird limitations specifically around genre, like creative nonfiction or autofiction or memoir, where like the speaker, that is the I of like the speaker or me, is like so contained and conjoined with the kind of expectation of truth telling that I think it delimits. So I really wanted to kind of make it like a hybrid almost.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of truth telling in this with the land and the body and so much of what's been appropriated in both cases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was important for me specifically with this book to kind of really kind of pay homage and love to the two spaces that I come from, Treaty 1 and Treaty 7, and bless those home bases for getting me through COVID.
And to show that not every story, every Indigenous story, is about truth and reconciliation.
Exactly. I think the role of testimony is something we see quite often right now with
yes.
TRC and with the Pope visiting, that sometimes testimony fails us. And so I wanted to kind of give my spin on what testimony means to the personal.
Mm-hmm. And you talk about writing in I, but you also write a lot about you, and the you is reflected on all kinds of different people, and that's a neat way of you dealing with them.
Yeah, the you was, I kind of fell in love with that pronoun in this book. One for anonymity for folks that I speak about, friends, lovers, aggressors, but also at times to keep myself culpable, and then also to invite the reader to reflect perhaps on some of these larger questions that Making Love with the Land is asking.
Mm-hmm. And I felt, I'll admit, it was a challenging read for me, but I'm glad it was a challenging read for you, for me, because you say that, you know, so much of the way that we read and so much of what is written now is very, very colonial.
Yeah, and I think sometimes that too is the disservice of English, you know, as an infant language, that we as readers and partakers of literature of any type of form are like trained to not really think about the history of a word. Like when you crack it open, like a pronoun you, there's all these constellations in there. So like that's where I think I have a lot of the fun in writing, but brevity is now my forte, so it's always dense.
No, it's very good and very well explained, and I like that it challenged me to go back and reread segments, because I think that really gets to more of your story.
I think so too, and Making Love with the Land was a project that was in the works since 2019, and right off the heels of Johnny Appleseed coming to, I guess, his literary fame with the Governor General and the Gillers, and then Canada Reads, right?
Winning Canada Reads, yes. Now, does the success of that, did it kind of, I mean, do you appreciate the success of Johnny Appleseed? You say that you have so many people referring to you as Johnny, thinking that, oh, well, a lot of what's in Johnny Appleseed must be about you.
And that's the funny thing about fiction, right? And why I kind of came to this. I imagine Making Love with the Land as kind of peeking behind the scenes of Johnny, or pulling back the curtain and seeing Oz the magician, to talk about, you know, what it means and what it costs a writer to write, and the type of relationship a writer enters with a reader.
A lot of catharsis in this book.
A lot of catharsis, a lot of hauntings, a lot of ghosts, but a lot of exorcisms too, to make the immaterial that is mental health and put it into material and something you can physically place down. It's very cathartic. And
especially the way that Indigenous people deal with mental health and how it's very different.
Very much so, yeah. I think a lot of it comes from, you know, kind of land-based relationships, but also a lot of it comes from, I think, shame and confusion as well. As I open with Making Love with the Land, is having secret conversations. And I thought, what better way can I help myself and my community than standing on stage and taking off the mask of character?
Yes. Thank you for doing that with us today on the day that the book launches. Joshua Whitehead, Making Love with the Land. Thanks very much, and good luck on the rest of your tour.
Thank you so much.